All right. Welcome to another Run Wild with Us, Ask Us Anything. I'm Lisa Kastner, and I am the founder and executive editor of Running Wild and RIZE presses. And I am here typically with some of our phantasmagorical acquisition editors and with you on Thursdays between 5 and 6 p.m. Pacific time, 8 and 9 p.m. Eastern time to answer whatever dang questions you may have. And honestly, it can be about anything. You can ask us about publishing. You can ask us about um, editing. You can ask us, why are all of our editors such brilliant editors? Because at least in my opinion, they are. And or not, nothing, none of the above. Whatever it is that you want, you are more than welcome to chat with us about. And all you have to do is go ahead and pop your question into the comments section of whatever social media you may be watching this, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Just go ahead and pop it in the comments section. I will then repeat the question as it is posted. And then, well, if it's just me, then it'll just be me answering your questions. Or if some of my amazing editors are able to make it tonight, then we'll just take turns in responding to your questions. So actually, first, I want to apologize. I've been MIA a little bit. I've been traveling quite a bit for Running Wild. We've been invited to a lot of conferences. We've been invited to a lot of workshops and so on. So that's been going on. Also, many of you may not know, I don't typically talk about certain personal things, but my husband actually is being treated for both prostate and bone cancer in Germany because there are certain treatments that are available in Europe that are not available here in the United States. So he was home this last 10 days, and I really just wanted to spend time with him. So I blew you guys off. So ha. Anyway, with that, I am now here with Ben with the exclamation point as it should be. I don't know if Ben can you hear me? Nope. It looks like he is going to have to reconnect. I'm showing that you'll need to reconnect the microphone or camera before he can. So he'll be back. It's all good. Then I'll come back. But yeah, so anyway, I blew you guys off. My apologies, but oftentimes, it can be months and months and months before I get a chance to see my husband in between treatments. So I really just wanted to spend some time with him. So thank you for your understanding, since we were not around for a little bit. But with that, what I would love to do is put out there, again, go ahead, feel free, ask any old questions that you may want to. Um, I'm trying to think of if anything is going on that you might find interesting. We were actually so Running Wild was accepted to the Los Angeles Urban League's small business program. And so we're going to be working with not just the Los Angeles Urban League, but several other sponsoring companies like Intuit and LegalZoom on all the things that have to do with that program. Really looking forward to it. It should be uh, it should be a very interesting program. And we've also submitted to several other small business programs as well. So fingers crossed that we get accepted to those programs. Hey, Ben, can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Woo!
It's raining here, so weird stuff happens when it rains.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I get it.
We're
So
not
how
used
are
to
you
it.
doing?
Good, good.
Yeah? What's new and exciting or or at least just maybe new to those who may be watching?
Just had a faculty focus day today, all day training for faculty.
Oh yeah.
Getting ready to go back to school on Monday.
So what do they train you on?
There's a selection. It's a wide selection of training sessions.
Okay.
I went to something important.
You went
I
to
forgot what
something.
they were, but I went. I was there.
Oh
I
my
was there
God,
because I
that's
got my notes.
you're like, gosh darn it, I made it.
Yeah, because I got my notes with me, so that's my proof.
Okay, that
I did
works.
that today. Here's the afternoon.
I
Here's
see.
a shipwreck.
Well,
Why is it
hopefully,
just us?
I don't know. I guess Peter didn't wasn't able to make it. Maybe he'll join
I
us in a
mean,
little bit.
nobody with us. Not just Peter, but nobody.
No, we've got two.
I don't
I'm
see them.
showing
I
two.
see zeros.
Oh, weird. Okay. I'm yeah, I'm showing that we've got two
Oh, good.
on a they're dialing in from X.
Okay,
Mhm.
then
Uh
welcome to Two on X. Glad to have you.
right?
It's a
Exactly.
1-to-1 ratio. We're good.
We're good. Yeah, exactly. 1 to 1. Uh I was trying to think if anything came up that we may want to share in the last couple weeks. Um I know, so we're gonna for those of you watching, if you're an author, we are going to be going through our acquisition process the end of September. So if you have submitted something to us and you haven't heard anything in a while, you should hear end of September, beginning of October, something like that. We're usually pretty good about knocking that out when we do
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Once we meet.
Yeah, exactly. Once we actually sit down and meet,
Yeah.
uh we typically have a really good and productive conversation. I
Yeah.
actually I want to say that I'm and might sound trite. I'm pretty proud of our acquisition sessions because we tend to be very honest and
I agree.
professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't always get that in more creative functions, you know. So,
I think we all have different things we look for,
mm,
and different ways of seeing what we look for even. And
mhm,
so the conversation is usually pretty rich.
agreed.
Yeah.
And it actually tends to be very complimentary. Whatever it is that each of us is taking from the work.
Yeah.
So, mhm. It was funny. I was just watching the Jonathan Mayberry's live stream. He has his from 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time, so right before this. And he was commenting on how he actually finds the revision process to be the most like fulfilling of within the writing process.
Yeah.
And because that's really when you see the piece come alive. And I think that's true.
Yeah.
It,
I can see that.
yeah, is
Is
that
it
your car?
well mine I write it then rewrite it right away. And
Ah.
and it'll change between the first draft and second draft, even though it's back to back.
Mm,
And then when I type it, there's when I first draft I write, second draft I rewrite, and then later on, months later, when I get to type it up, it
mhm.
may even change again. So I say, how does it flow, or how does it look, or how does that sound?
Yeah, and
But I
on
think in a work of fiction, though, there's a
mhm,
chance to make it better, because
mhm,
your first thought may not have been the best thought, but now you've got, what did I really mean in that section? Let me enhance it,
mhm.
and to rewrite it.
Yeah,
And
what was I going for?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm,
and you have time to make it better.
mhm.
Well, I've got a piece that when I stopped, I know I didn't like it, so just letting it set now for a long time,
Hmm.
months, a year, I
Okay.
don't know. It the idea came to make it better and how to rework it. So I think the closer you are to your work, you know the parts that need to be reworked.
Hmm. Yeah, I think so. And it's also, uh, I I really enjoy the revision process, especially when, like, as you're going through it, you realize, hey, wait a minute, if I do X, Y, and Z, then this could really be, incredible.
Yeah,
Or, it could really, bring to life different elements of the story that, in at least the first version, they work. It may still work. It's just not
yeah,
as amazing as it could be.
right.
So, mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
That's in the. I think that's a mature author's approach, and I don't
when
mean
did
mature
that happen?
like me.
When did we
an,
suddenly become mature? I thought we were
an
still immature.
experienced author's experience. How about that?
Okay.
Because there's a point where again you know where it's weak.
Right.
Now whether you admit where it's weak, that's the mature part, the maturity you're showing.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I could totally see that. And we've actually had entire conversations during our acquisition sessions that were around, like, did we think that the author would be willing to make certain revisions on the work, because it seemed like because I mean, and this, we've gotten submissions where people are just basically like, as far as I'm concerned, this is done. And you don't necessarily want to dive into a revision process with someone who's basically going to tell you to screw yourself. So, yeah, it is true. It is true. Um, let's see. I'm just anyone who's one of our authors, I actually just got a couple of guides that you can use for promoting your book. So if you're interested in getting a hold of it, just reach out to me and I'll pass it along. Um, but it's a nice, like, 6 months out, 3 months out, 90 days out. Well, that is 3 months, but yeah, 2 months out, 1 month out, a couple weeks out. So it's a very one of them is a very tactical approach, which is great. So definitely just reach out. Man, we've got no questions. We don't even have any hellos. This is weird. But we do have
three
three
now.
people.
I see
Yeah.
three are with us.
Yeah, I see three too. Three as
Post
well.
in those questions. Let us know what's on your mind.
Yeah, let us know what it is that you're interested in hearing about, because, you know, that's why we're here, is to
I
answer.
did get an email today about the anthology. It was from an anthology 8 short story author
Oh yeah?
who was just checking on the status, and so for everyone, uh, anthology 7 is close to being released. I think September,
Mm-hmm.
October still, and
Mm-hmm.
then that makes October or anthology 8 about a year out, and then I am about to go through the short stories for Anthology 9, and that'll be for 2026. But if you've got a short story in with me, you're seeing in progress. That's because it's in progress because I'm headed that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for those of you who, if you've submitted novellas, I am finishing up editing a novel and a short story collection, and I'm gonna start. We're actually gonna do a Kickstarter, myself and Jonathan Mayberry, for a magical realism short story anthology. So you may want to look for that, because that actually that should be a good time. And I'm also going to be doing another anthology that will be all around the theme of um, like basic like canine relationships, meaning authors with, or not authors, but primary characters who have canines in their lives in some capacity. So that one I'm going to be doing in partnership with Scott Leva. And Scott Leva is actually, so he had won an Oscar back in the day for the creation of the stunt bag. So that literally the stunt bags that are used um, in TV and film. Um, and we are actually going to be publishing his memoir, and we haven't really announced it yet because we are referencing a bit of both Marvel, DC, Warner uh, IP, I guess you could say. And so we're just making doubly sure that we get all the official sign-offs that we need for his memoir. But anyway, so that's going to be coming, and then I think we have one more book that needs an editor. So if any of our editors are watching and you want to pick up um, one of our uh, pick up a story, just reach out to me. I'm happy to pass it along, and so you can check it out. But in the meantime, I also am going to start working on the next novella anthology. I'm probably not going to start working on that until um, like October, November, just because we've already completed the novella anthologies through 2025. So, this thing wouldn't even come out until like 2026. Um,
Right.
so that's why if you have submitted a novella to us and you haven't heard anything, that's why you haven't heard anything, because we're already backed up pretty much. So, um, all right. Well, now we have four. We had five for about a half a second. But if you are watching and you have any questions, please feel free to go ahead and toss your questions into the comments section of whatever social media you may be watching. And Ben and I will do our absolute darndest to answer your questions. And don't forget, if you're new to this, all this is it's a bunch of acquisition editors basically getting together and making the time that you can ask us whatever the heck you want. Um, it can be about creative writing, editing, the business of publishing. It could be, why the hell do we do this? Because I gotta tell you, Ben is a brilliant poet, just specifically narrative poems, and Peter is a brilliant literary writer, and Cody's a fantastic sci-fi and writer. So um, that may be why, at least for me, it's like, why the heck are you guys even doing it? Margaret Buchanan says, "Hey guys, I'm watching the DNC. Aha! So that's why, because normally we've got,
Yes.
yeah, normally we've got at least like 15, 18 people.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, okay, that makes sense. Thank you for the tip, Margaret. Greatly appreciated. Um, that also just shows that Ben and I don't necessarily watch the DNC.
It's on downstairs.
Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. Got it. Yeah, I just Uh, I know who I'm going to vote for. I don't need to watch the DNC.
Yeah.
So it's all good. Uh, anyway, so are you working on, are there any personal projects you're working on right now?
Oh, I'm still typing up a bunch of collections.
Ah,
I have, let's see, April 25th, 2023 is where I am, but I only have to go to May.
okay.
So it's say 5 more journals to go through. Not every poem in the journal needs to be typed up, but I've got 5 that have some poems in the. Actually, I got 2 collections running along at the same time,
Hmm.
and then next to me, starting in 2024,
Hmm.
I've got about another 3 or 4 collections to type up.
Oh, wow.
It's too much.
Well, I still need to map out the next book in the world of Cure. So
Yeah,
I need what I well once I'm actually done the uh working on the anthologies that I already promised I'd work on, then I'll get more hardcore and just like knock out, the actual um uh story itself.
yeah.
And I'll send it to you so you can kill it. Identify all the weak.
Thoughtful suggestions. You know that.
No, I know that. Yeah. Honestly, then I usually the suggestions I get from you and from Peter, I'm like, damn, that's really smart. I think we need to do that. So,
It was
yeah,
like
totally.
the short story you just finished with Berger in the museum. It was, I mentioned that undercurrent of technology versus
Mm,
old, not technology, and what he was used to had been used to filing away in the museum for years, and now he's being encroached upon by the technology and the need for it,
hmm.
and which was. I, I'm not sure if you did it on purpose, but it did have that tension and undercurrent that came through. I think we could have polished it to come through more,
Mm.
but it was still there. It was still, especially because I know Berger. I've gone through
Mm.
2 novels with Berger now, so I know him.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true. Yep.
and so that nightstand, which is a nice touch for writers out there, to if you've got a theme that just adds to the tension or to the character or to the
Mm.
situation that it doesn't necessarily need to be there, but if it is there, it's working on another layer. That's
Hmm.
that's that's creative, and that's what the storytelling's about.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
the creativity.
Yeah, and it was intentional just because the prompt was computer god, and so it just seemed like a natural
Yeah,
to to have a story that was really from Berger's perspective and evolve that, because that it had existed somewhat in Cure and in Family Pack,
yeah,
but it just seemed like it would be cool to do it, really evolve it from his point of view.
right.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I'm sure part of it too was, I mean, as we get older, at
Sure.
least you observe more and more uh, that tension that exists in our society in general of, computing versus non-computing. Um, so yeah, but yeah, that's always fun. So I'm actually surprised by the number of questions I get around like, do we use AI? And the number of like webinars and articles and stuff where people are pitching how, how critical AI is for whatever it is that you're doing, but then they don't tell you why it's critical,
Yeah.
which is illogical, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
I just randomly telling you someone like it's like saying you have to uh you know wear neon green. Why? Well, because everyone's wearing neon green and neon green's cool. So
It's trending.
it's trending. So you need to do it. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like, come back with some actual explanations as to why it's so critical,
Yeah.
and then, yeah, let's chat. But until then, go away.
Well, because you can. That's not the right answer either.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's really not. So, um, I'm trying to think if we've got anything else coming up soon. Um, so I did Storytellers Happy Hour last night with Teehee. Oh, we are most likely, if anyone is interested, we're most likely going to actually postpone the writers getaway from, I think originally we were going to do it in October, and now I think we're actually going to be doing it in like May or June of next year.
Okay.
And the reason is because we've gotten a lot of feedback from people who were like, "Oh my God, I really want to do this, but it's just not enough time to like set everything up and get my vacation time and, all of
Sure. Yeah.
that." So Teehee right now is in talks with the owner of the spa to see if we can actually switch it to like May, June, July of 2025. So once we have the new dates, then we'll make an official announcement. Um, but yeah, that's the plan right now.
Okay.
Hmm.
Had you gotten any submissions?
We did actually. We got it, but it was like a handful.
Yeah.
So that's why it was, it was like, well, you know what? Why don't, and Teehee and I had been talking about it for a little while,
Yeah.
about pushing it out to 2020, some point in 2025.
Yeah.
And again, because we had actually both gotten the same feedback from multiple people who were like, salivating. They were so excited about it. But then when they realized, oh, it's like, 2 months from now or 3 months
Oh,
from now,
yeah.
it was like, you know, it's just very difficult right now to make those kinds of arrangements at such, relatively short notice. So,
And I guess not everybody has a slush pile like I do just to go and submit a bunch of stuff.
actually, that's probably accurate. Um, because I did have a few people who reached out to me and said that well, they didn't feel like they had enough time to write something for it, and I was like, you don't have to write something for it. You can just do it, you know. So, yeah.
But that's good
Right.
too, that the idea is initiating people to write
Oh yeah,
and motivating people to write.
absolutely. I completely agree. Rod Gilly says, "Hey guys, how are you doing?" Hey Rod, awesome to see you. Man, we haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been? Off running around. Uh, oh, I was gonna tell you something that now, of course, it's like in one ear, out the other. Um, uh, oh goodness. Oh well, it'll come back to me at some point, I'm sure. Um, but oh yeah, but I have been applying for a lot of like grants and and funding and programs and things like that. So I've just been trying to knock all that out. And Rod says he's been buried in work, literally. Well, that's a good thing. It's good to be buried in work. Better to be in demand than not, you know. So,
Yes.
yep. Um,
The idea for the NFG novel is still on. Um, gonna break it about 250 pages and split it into two.
oh,
And
okay.
I talked to Tim this week,
Okay.
and I offered him an idea for NFG outgoing, and then part two would be NFG incoming, and
Oh,
he liked that idea. So it's being deployed and then more or less coming home, the incoming,
oh,
and
interesting.
and he he told me that he's working on the material for the trilogy. So I said, keep going.
All righty.
And we'll come up with a name for that one later. But it's post deployment, home and out of the army, and how it
Mm-hmm.
lingers.
Okay. Well, that
Yeah,
sounds interesting, I think.
yeah.
How do you feel about it? I mean,
It's it's it is no holds barred kind of in your face storytelling,
well, that's good,
and with
right?
yeah, oh yeah, and he'll take time out to warn the reader every now and then. He said, "I told you."
All
So
right.
he's having a conversation as he goes, which gives it a kind of a stream of consciousness feel to it too. That's a nice added dimension.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look who I found.
I finally surfaced after the last. It's been crazy. It's been a crazy blur. I feel like I haven't slept at all, but I had to jump on the call because I missed you guys.
Well, we miss you too. How are you doing? What do you mean?
You're delirious.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean you haven't slept at all? What have you been up to, young man?
You couldn't be closer to the truth if you tried, man. It's just been a whirlwind of a couple days. Just nonstop of putting up with stuff and trying to figure out what's next and not sleeping. It's just been crazy. But I made it through it. I'm here. I'm home. Things are good. I'm curious about the Worldwide Federation of Writing Ben's talking about. You were talking about a big white wrestling thing, weren't you?
I was talking about the NFG novel.
Oh.
But
like I said, okay, I'm not fully back yet then. Sorry about that.
The worldwide what?
Federation of Writing. I thought that's that's what I jumped in on. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can swing with that. See what happens.
Yeah. I can go Google it.
There you go. How have you guys been?
Just keep making it happen, right? I mean,
exactly.
That's all you can do. Just keep on working it.
One foot in front of the other.
That's right.
So.
Yep, we've got a bunch of books coming out in September and October, and then I mean now I think it's more just prepping for our next acquisition session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been looking through the manuscripts. I think a couple of them have a lot of promise, a lot of good stuff there.
Yeah, I don't like those.
God damn it.
We were talking about our honest conversations when we meet.
Just like last time, I know.
I mean, so we go.
I just love the ones that when we're all like, yeah, this has a lot of promise, and we go to get on the phone with the author and they just never show up. It's like, oh, okay. I guess that's a no.
Yeah, because it's so easy to get a publisher these days, right?
Yeah. Knocking on the door every minute.
Yep.
No, that was the Jehovah's Witnesses. But Hey, Lisa, do I need to reach out to that author of the short story collection that I was supposed to start at the end of July?
If you would, that would be great.
Okay, I'll look. I'll look up the. I think you sent me a name and maybe an
I,
email, but I'll find them.
yeah, I copied you on an email to him.
Yeah, I'll find them. Just to
Okay,
update them, let them know where I am.
exactly. Rod says, it's exciting. Running Wild Press Anthology 7 is coming pretty soon. Yeah, the short story collection it should be coming out. I think it's in September.
September. I was thinking September, but October for sure, I think.
And then he says, the book that would not be completed, slowly bending to my will. We have come around the last curve and headed for the home stretch. Well, that's awesome. Congratulations. That is a lot of work. Oh my God. Sorry. I was going on in our submittable page. We have over 1,000 submissions.
What?
Yeah, but that's everything. That's the full length short stories and novella. So don't worry, you don't have to read them all.
So these are all under consideration?
They are all, well, they're in our inbox, I guess you could say.
So we haven't looked at them before. These are all brand new from the last time we did the acquisitions under session.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's great news.
Yeah.
A bit overwhelming.
The short stories started May or June 1st, 2023. Because that's my window. June 1st, 2023 to May 31st, 2024 is the window for Anthology 9.
Oh, okay. For the short story anthology.
Right.
Got
for
it.
Running Wild Press. I think RIZE has some short stories there too. Because I responded to that one author who was asking why it's always in progress. Because
yeah, that one author.
You're always in progress.
And let's see for oh wow. We actually have, now I have to do my homework. We actually have a decent number of submissions for the Drexel University award. So I guess I have to actually look at these now. And I'm assigning them to you guys too. If you want to read them, you don't have to. Don't feel any pressure to look at them, but yeah. Wow, that's great. I think the deadline for that, what is the deadline for that? It would be great if I actually remembered. I want to say it's like the middle of September. So for anyone who's watching and you have no idea what I'm talking about, we actually are sponsoring a book award with Drexel University through their MFA program. So we'll announce the winner of the book award in November, but I believe our deadline for it's September 8th is the deadline. So if you're a student with Drexel's MFA program or you're an alumni from their MFA program, you've got until September 8th, Sunday, September 8th, to get your submission into us to be considered for the inaugural award. So just keep that in mind. Hey, Ben, you just got another short story. Like literally as we were sitting here, someone submitted a short story.
I think somebody's listening. That's good.
Yeah. They're like, oh,
That's Anthology 10. Did they just hear my dates?
Right? Totally.
You never know, because I have been known if I need to, I'll go to the next year.
My goodness, there are 250 short stories. My goodness,
I'm on it.
you're on it. I'm afraid to see how many novellas there are.
I forget what the connection to Drexel University is.
Oh, I went there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was well, I got my undergraduate from Drexel University, and I'm on their advisory board.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so they were like, "Hey, you know,
By the way,
what can we do together?" And I was like, "Well, we could do a book award with with your." There was no MFA program when I went there. But I offered for us to sponsor a book award, and
that's
they liked
awesome.
the idea. Yeah. So, yeah, that was it. There are 98 novellas to be considered.
I'll still keep the 250 short stories.
You're like, I'm good with that.
You should come on. It's only a quarter.
Yeah, come on, man. Easy peasy. You can knock it out like that. No problem. So Peter, what have you been up to? Like, what are you still owe us a novel. I mean, you know that, right?
Yes, I do. And I'm making progress. I like it. I'm getting a chapter done a week. So things are moving forward, and I'm liking the way the story's it's finally talking to me. One of the characters, the main character, the half main character, half protagonist, is finally developing her own personality and arguing with me on how she regards her name and her situation and everything. So it's coming along. I mean, this is something I work on every single day, or at least every single night. So, when I'm not editing for Running Wild, I work on my own book. So
awesome.
Coming along. This is not a lost cause. I'm hoping to be done by what's that? So it's 12, 24, 15. All right, I'll give myself a December 31st complete date in your hands. How's that sound?
All right. Game on.
All right.
Yeah. He'll keep it
down, Peter.
He's gonna keep you to it, man. Look
All
out.
right. Any help or punishment or any help would work. I'll take it.
I heard that. I heard the punishment. I don't blame you.
It's just been crazy, and things around here have been good. So yeah, just a happenstance thing the other day that just kind of drew my whole attention that I had to stop everything on the outside. I took a couple days off work to handle something. I'm not going to go into it now because it's rather personal. But yeah, I was off the grid for a couple days. But I got back on last night, so things are good. Things are really good.
Excellent.
Really appreciate being a part of this team. I really like this.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad you don't hate us yet.
How long has it been? 4 years? 5 years? No, nowhere close. Not even a bit.
No, well, now we started. Well, let's see, 20. Well, I started it in 2016, and I think brought you guys on in what 2017, 2018. So yeah, it's like 6 years. Damn.
Still here, still cranking away.
Yeah, we still make it happen. So, and I was just saying before you came on, I've been applying for like grants and stuff, and I got accepted to the Los Angeles Urban League has a small business program.
Great.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of classes I'll be taking, and all kinds of stuff. So I just need to, I think it's for a year. And it's anything from like online classes to mentors to they give you software to like all kinds of stuff. So,
so you're like a student again.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So I'll be knocking. I just submitted for like 2 or 3 more other ones. So,
Great.
yeah. So fingers crossed, we actually get accepted. Oh, excuse me. Some of them are like, they basically sponsor you. They give you money for anything from like operations to marketing to resources to whatever. And some of them it's classes, and some of them they'll assign you like a mentor of some sort. So I'm curious to see how they go about, I guess you could say. So
What's it begin?
honestly, I'm not sure. I had to submit a whole bunch of paperwork, which I knocked out last night. I think it officially begins in September. So
Wow.
Cool.
yeah, yep. So it's just
Finally, something to do.
yeah, because clearly we're bored. I mean, duh. There's so little to occupy ourselves.
And all this
So
time, right?
yeah, tons of time. Oh, and I will be facilitating a writer's coffee house in Pasadena, California. So anyone who's in the area, if you are interested, it's basically just a bunch of people sitting around um talking about more like the business side of writing. Um and it'll be at, I'm just pulling up it'll be at Tipo's coffee house or cafe. And again, in Pasadena, it's the second Sunday of every month. Um, and the first one will be on September 8th, from noon to 3 o'clock. I just put a link to the coffee shop's website. It should be in whatever chat you may be watching. Um, and I think it'll be really good. We've already gotten confirmation from several people who will be there, including Ray Porter, who is a writer himself as well as an actor and the voice artist for all of Jonathan Mayberry's Joe Ledger books, and Jonathan Mayberry as well, who actually is the person who started the writers' coffee houses back in the day in the Philadelphia area. So
Awesome.
yeah, so it should be good. Um, and I hear Topito's coffee is pretty decent. So so we all have goals, as we should.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually associated with um, Topito's in Pasadena is actually a branch of a large bookstore. Like it's in the front of the bookstore. So you can go get your coffee on, your breakfast burrito on, hang out and talk shop, and then go into the bookstore and you know, get some shopping going. So
Awesome.
yeah, it should be good. Um, I'm trying to think if there's anything else major that's going on. For anyone who's watching, Family Pack, which is the follow-up to Cure, is coming out in October. It's October 3rd. And I'm actually going to be doing a bunch of different events. We're just compiling them now, and I will be giving away concert T-shirts that include like where you can come and hang out with me and some of my fellow miscreants as we wreak havoc in whatever location we may be. So, but yeah, it should be a good time. We'll have a good time,
Awesome.
definitely. Yeah. Um. Well, and we only have like 11 minutes left. Uh, how about so what do you guys have any approaches to editing, like a favorite like method that you use?
Well, I start with the dictionary. Oh.
I'm like, really? Holy shit.
Make sure all the words are spelled right. Every book is different. I mean,
Mm.
they really are. I mean, the thing that I'm most interested in achieving is the flow and the world, the realm of the story. And whenever I get interrupted and pulled out of that, that's when I make a note for the author saying that, you know, we were with it up to this point, and then I was thinking about something else. And if I'm kept picking up on that, there's a good chance that the normal reader would pick up on that. And that's kind of where I find my stops and hits and bumps along the road, along the story through line for the plot.
Mm.
But it's very different for every novel because the author's is remaining true to the author's voice is the most fun aspect of it. Like I said, I'm exhausted. I'm forgetting words. My apologies. But keeping true to the author's voice is the most fun. Discovering that voice sometimes is easy. Sometimes it's difficult. But the difficult ones, when you finally realize it, they go back to the beginning. You see where you can shift everything into place and keep the flow going, keep everything going along the line. So it arrives at a great denouement at the end, which is very rewarding and often surprising for the reader. So that's kind of one of my methods of approaching it.
That's cool. I love the concept of like reading until the point where you realize you are like spacing out or like get sidetracked. Because you're right. Like that's probably like a natural point within the story that anyone who's reading it, they get pulled out. So there's something about that portion that needs to be, I get like massaged, I guess you could say.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I have another point, but I want to hear what Ben has to say because he's awesome.
He is awesome.
He is. I mean that truthfully, respectfully. Absolutely.
Totally. Mm-hmm.
None of us get an exclamation point after our names.
Obviously, I can't. Hell's no.
Yeah.
So Ben, what's an editing approach that you use?
Well, I start with we talked about the acquisitions team meeting tonight. And I think I start with that in the background, in the back of my head. So we chose this. It wasn't just me who chose this. We chose this as a team, so it deserves to be here. And then to read it and make sure, look for the story. Does it grab you right away? And it's right along with what Peter said, but it's some advice I've heard. If all that stuff that the reader's going to skim over, take it out.
Exactly.
It's not there. Why have all that description or whatever it is that the reader's going to skim over anyway, and look for that. But from my poet point of view, it's where it loses energy, and when the writing loses energy, and you start to just skip over and say, okay, yeah, got it. That's got the description or whatever it is, and then look for the energy. And sometimes, and I saw it in the NFG novel with the chapters that are too long, they lose energy. And sometimes the solution is just break it up into smaller chapters and let the reader's attention catch its breath. It may not even be the reader; it's just their attention needs to catch its breath, and then to jump back in and keep reading. But
sorry, go ahead.
It was just to go through it, and so that's my approach. And then I'll ask the author to start following me through when I get about halfway, so they see what I'm doing, and instead of having the whole thing and then the author say, "Well, what'd you do?" But so there's two of us going through. When I get to the second half, they're starting the first half, and then I'm ready to circle back and follow them through. And so it really becomes a partnership of looking at what each one of us is doing. And it's, the other side of that is when I see that novel and I remind myself, hey, we selected this.
Yeah.
I wonder why did we select this one? and, but that hasn't happened. It doesn't happen. It's happened once,
Mm.
and it was this spring and well late winter, early spring.
Mhm.
But even that one was it deserved our attention because we picked it,
Right.
and as much work and effort as I put into to get the cell phone references out of 1972, it was worth it.
That's yeah.
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 No, 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 no. But that was stuff that I took more stuff out of that one than any I had in the past.
Mm.
But of course, I used to.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting because to your point, sometimes the solution is something as simple as breaking up an incredibly long paragraph so that the reader's eyes get a break and can then it's the pacing of it that needs to be adjusted, more than anything. So, um, Rod asks, do you publish semi-erotic poetry? I know a writer looking for a press. Honestly, Rod, we consider anything as long as it has to have a narrative. I mean, that's our mission, is to change the world through story. So, since that is our overall mission for both Running Wild and Rise, that means that it has to actually have a narrative to it. If it doesn't have a narrative, then we don't consider it. So that's the bottom line. Um,
My mind's stuck on the bundle of work she has to consider. My mind flashed. I've got 15 different 15 different words you could use for bundle. And like, if we're going towards semi-erotic, I've got a couple that I can just list off right here.
It's a bundle.
No, Ben's approach is really, really good. I mean, that's a great overall feel to how you approach the works. I wish I had that, commitment. I usually or that I don't know what the commitment isn't the right word, but I take on the novel as a whole, so I can see what's going on. And that puts more work on my shoulders because I'm constantly telling the author, I'm working through this. I'm getting back to you. Whereas with your approach, they know what's going on each step of the way. And I try my best to get it back to them as fast as I can, but it just bogs me down a little bit. So I respect your approach. It's very good.
It also has a dimension of who you're working for. You're working with the author, but again, those acquisition meeting conversations are there, and I know I'm working for you guys, and
well, we're working together. I mean,
and it's open for, and Peter and I have done this back and forth before. What do you think about this passage? And
right,
and the brother and sister. Well, never mind. But when it comes to it, I know that I've got a safety net to go to and say, hey, I need a reality check. And that was even the writing we sent you, Lisa and I sent you after I'd gone through it. I said, this feels like some Peter advice. Can we get his insights? And sure enough, the narrative sounded like explanation and needed to be worked on. And in different words, that's what you saw, and that was validating too.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, oftentimes we all see very similar issues or similar opportunities within that narrative, but we may see a different way of massaging it. So it's really validating to have someone else basically reiterate what you've seen or experienced with a work by another editor. So yeah, totally. Holy crap! We're actually out of time. Well, that's kind of wild. Well, with that, I want to thank absolutely everyone who joined us, even if there was no commentary made. If you come up with a question or something that you'd want to pass by us, please feel free to go ahead and pop it into the comments section of whatever venue that you are watching this. And, or even if you're watching it, the post recording. And we will be more than happy to respond to it next week. So with that, thank you guys. As always, Peter, Ben, you guys are amazing. Love everyone who's joined us, and we will talk to you soon. So, ciao.